Well, hello there. We are now hydrating with tea. That's just a little bit of juice in it. That way it gives it some flavor without being overly sugary. A little bit of mango cranberry juice. So there you go, life hack for you if you want it. Mix a little tea, a little juice. Very tasty. All right. Also, it hydrates. Look it up. We are in the second act. The way this game works is in that first act, when you get the option to go to green or red, going to be a little spoiler alert in case you don't watch all the videos here and don't even watch the whole video, that's fine. But when you go into one portal, the other area will be your third act. So your second and third acts are essentially interchangeable, but it does raise the level of the enemies and the amount of health and damage that they do for whichever one goes third. Alright, so we already did our upgrades in Vel'Korath. We got down to 15 cards again, and we decided to go north so that we could go to Khazad-dûm. So we are going to just go ahead and do that. Looks like we've got some satyr-looking dudes and some goblins. And I've got to fix my... There we go. Let's get some sound coming through the right aspects things. Alright. Our fastest person is now Magnus, and that's because he gets a fast charge. Otherwise he is one shy of Andrin. So on the next turn, they will be switched. We have a very good first hand here, so follow-up being there means that Sweeping Strike is about to be free. However, let's do this in an order that matters. Sweeping Fast Strike right now does 7. Now it's going to do 8. Enrage is going to give us an extra card, which is also Shield Bash. That's great. We do have enough, even if we weren't to use follow-up to cast everything, but I think it's worth it to go ahead and bank that energy for next turn. So we are going to go ahead and do a follow-up first. Then a Fast Strike. Now that Sweeping Strike is free, we can put that on the middle guy here. That gives us 3 people damaged instead of just 2. And then we'll just continue on casting everything in our hand. That's pretty good. We did 31 damage to the front guy, and quite a bit to the other 2 as well, so not too shabby. With that guy being already damaged, we're going to go ahead and cast Wild Hunt here, so obviously we're going to use that. We can cast everything in our hand except for one of our 1 costs, so we really have to choose now whether or not we're going to apply 7 mark or 3 mark and 10 damage. In order for the Hunter's Mark to come out ahead, that would mean that we would need to hit an additional, so 4 damage difference between the 3 mark and the 7 mark, and that would need to happen essentially 3 times in order to come out ahead of Slice. I don't know if... Well, yeah, these guys will both commit for more than 3 hits, I think. So Hunter's Mark is, in fact, worth it. Let's get rid of... So we can only hit the front monster with these. This one can hit anything. So what we probably want to do is just go ahead and Hunter's Mark this guy. And then we're going to Sneaky Strike him. And that is going to make it to where our Slice does even more damage. So this doing 17 damage versus this doing 15. Actually, you know what? It might be worth just to Slice twice and leave 1 energy for next turn. Sneaky Strike isn't going to give us that much more right now, just because we've got the extra mark going from Wild Hunt. Well, that is for every energy used, so actually draining all of our energy this turn is good. Okay, so I take it back. I think we are going to Sneaky Strike here, so that'll be 17 damage in there, and now this will do 21 instead of 15, so actually that is kind of still pretty good. And notice that we've got a little bit of mark propagating elsewhere, and this guy's going to take a whopping 20 extra damage from the next hit on him, so that should pretty quickly take him out. Now, we are going to take a boatload of damage here because we don't have a chance to go with our other characters before all 4 of them go. So this may be a little bit of an instance of trying to do a little bit of knock down a couple guys and then spend a couple of turns letting Reginald heal us, because otherwise we're going to be in pretty bad shape. Superconductor, notice that that's going to do 22 damage to the first guy and only 1 damage to the second guy, and that's just because we've got 19 marks still sitting on that, which is incredible. Let's go ahead and do it, and that should tell us whether or not... Okay, so we came back to that guy. He's done. He's fully done. We can cast everything but one thing in our hand, so I feel like let's go ahead and do at least 1 transmission to Andrin, as he is currently very shy on mana for next turn. Energy, mana, whatever, it's the same thing. And now we just have to choose between Nightmare, Charge Battery, and another transmission, all of which are vanished, so we're going to get rid of 2 of these cards from our hand forever, or from our deck for, well, not forever, for the rest of the fight. But as we go, things will have less and less effect for Charge Battery, because Shock only does damage to the side, so I think let's do that first. That's also going to provide 2 more energy for her next turn, which is super nice. And then we just kind of look through and say, is anybody else going to be super short on mana? Does transmission make more sense than just trying to do a little bit of damage? This is a fair bit of damage, but we don't have anything else that's going to synergize with our Dark and Insane charges, so that is just kind of 22 damage to that center guy, and that's about it. 22 damage is pretty close to what 2 energy is going to buy us anyway, so let's just go ahead and do the damage now, and that will help us to sort of complete the fight a little bit faster. Okay, we've got Purging Ray, so we could remove Evasion. I don't know if that does that before or after doing damage. I suppose it's probably worth checking. That's free, so we're going to do that anyway. And these guys have bleed all over the place. This guy's the most hurt, so let's do that. I like the idea of just not testing too thoroughly. Well, you know what? It's an early fight. Let's see. Okay, so he evaded the shot, and then the purge happened. So really, that was 2 mana used for just about no effect. But we learned something. We learned that evasion happens before you go in order on the cards. So that damage happened, then the evasion stack ate the damage, got rid of itself, and then purge had nothing to purge. So, all right, we have all the energy for this turn. Who's going next? Him. Let's make sure he's got something decent coming up. Holy cow, that's a great hand coming up, and we've got choices on choices, so let's just leave that as is. Let's get our searing stuff going. I should have sliced first. That would have given Mark, which would have done more damage on the searing. Don't forget that elemental damage, while not physical, does still count for Mark, so always useful to get any Mark stacks you have that you're going to cast, get those out first. Then do your other things. Alright, we got an ice shot. We can take this guy out completely. We can also rupture this front guy. That gets some more bleed on him. And there are 7 charges of... So if we do this, that negates the 7 charges of Spark that would otherwise do 7 damage each to those 2 guys. However, I think these guys have some decent lightning resist, right? They've got 15% lightning resist, so it's really only going to do like 5 or 6 damage to each one, and the 7 damage doesn't happen to him, so he wasn't going to die, and that's 2 cards. So we can remove the ability for 2 cards to happen against us right now, and I feel like that's worth it. Especially if it's going to be a double slash and a throw knife. That's a lot of damage. Okay, so we've got options. There's 2 more cards coming right after this turn. I can do all of this. 18 and 14 is 32. Add another 19 bleed on top of the 4 is 23 bleed. 32 plus 23 is not quite enough to kill, but I do have fast strike, so I think if we just load into this guy, now you can see this red bar here is very dark red, so he is fully deadified. Yep. Okay, and now we just want to make sure that we don't accidentally kill this guy before we have a chance to heal just a little bit, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to stack up some things on him, so let's hope for our mantra. Hey, there's a prayer of healing, that's great. Mantra, it's not the spell that I was thinking. Applying foresight seems fine because it's free. Let's get everybody a little bit of health, and then we will stack up some extra heals on the people that need it the most. Alright, we're on to round 3. Obviously we lost our excellent bonus, but there wasn't much way to do this any faster. Let's get our deflects rolling. And if we remember now, our order, tape, recorder. Slice goes first, and then our Searing Nova. Searing Nova right now is going to do 5 damage. Now Searing Nova does 7. Now Searing Nova does 9, so mark matters. We can also Sneaky Strike to make this thing do even more damage, but it's not going to do a whole lot more. So what we're going to do instead is Sneaky Strike last, and that gives him the Stealth Charge, which immediately goes away. Alright, well that's fine. I don't remember why stealth charges go away immediately sometimes, but they do. Alright. And those thorns killed him, so we are totally okay. This is a lot more of the same that we were looking at before. Transfusion is one way to do some interesting things, so you can take the blood. If you're causing any self-bleeds, this is a good card to cause a bunch of self-bleeds and then push it onto an enemy. We're not doing that in this deck, so unless we want a cleave, which just does damage to all monsters, I think we're kind of fully okay. We've got a sweeping strike, and we've got a big sever artery, so I feel like we're already fairly attack heavy. Our shield bashes and barricade are really the only defensive skills that are worth anything. Obviously defend exists, but it's pretty small. I would be okay if we picked up the cleave and then got rid of the precise strike. That's a possibility, and we can cause it to do some bleeds, so maybe we'll pick it up to see how it works. I'm not real excited about any of these still. We do have upgraded things here. Firestorm is a repeat. All monsters damage, costs 4. Dark Ritual can give somebody energy, but mostly kills yourself. I think we'll just skip. And then I'm really mostly okay here, except I think that might be good. Being able to prep for next turn. Okay. So Rune Master is going to ask us a riddle, which basically has no sense. So we can say nothing, we can just leave, we can say a sheep, a goblin, or chickens. Let's go with chickens. Oh, okay, so we get a little divination round. We get an upgraded adrenaline that is usable multiple times and just gives us an energy. I like energy. But a do-it-yourself provides armor, a taunt, and a fortify. That's pretty funny. If we could ever get Andrin to a point where we could actually remove a lot of these cards from the deck or have them vanish, having deflects where you could just sort of spam them over and over and over in sort of an infinite loop would be a really, really fun combination with do-it-yourself. We don't have that going right now, so we're not going to. Repeat up to is a very different thing than repeat. This is one of my few complaints about the game right now, is this it's It's a little bit of a trap. Repeat up to means you can actually pay more energy. So if I want this to happen 3 times or 4 times, I have to pay 4 energy for it. That's not great. There are other spells that just repeat themselves, and that can be pretty great. Recurring Nightmare is not that. And we have a Black Karma that does a little bit of damage to a particular monster and applies 5 dark. Which is actually a really good card, but not for this deck. All of my stuff is holy, and dark damage, you kind of want to get it to 25 charges so you can blow them up. And we're just not doing that. Now, we did take a Nightmare over here, but for 1 energy, by contrast, that is 18 damage and 4 stacks of nonsense, whereas this is only 8 damage, so it's fully 10 damage less. So I think we are just going to pass on that. And obviously there was a lesser upgraded version of just a regular upgrade of the same card. Alright, let's do a Colosseum. So we can either bet on these guys or we can actually participate in the combat. I like the idea of participating. So we can't face the gladiators, but we can take on some insects. Arena Battle 1, fight, fight, fight. Enrage first, give ourselves some energy and some cards. Get that war paint so we do more damage. Oh boy, Shield Bash does extra damage. Like that. We very nearly killed that guy without actually doing anything else. Oh, Pebble Throw. I feel betrayed. Okay, so he's already gone for this round, so Expert Tracker is probably best used on somebody like Evelyn. That's great except for Transmission. I don't think we need that. If we're getting Elemental Proliferation, we want as many damage spells as possible. That cantrips do draw us another card and gives us an extra energy, so this seems fine. In fact, we can actually even drop one of these Fire Blasts, knowing that we'll have an extra energy to cast our other spells. Being that the Fire Blast is 0 energy, but doesn't do much. And if we've got Elemental Proliferation going, maybe we can get one of the multi-target spells going. Okay, we've got 4 energy. Let's do the easy thing here. We'll do a Hunter's Mark here on this guy, and then we'll Sneaky Strike him. And then we end turn, and he's still stealth now. That's cool. So that means that people can't target him. So it's a little safer. Okay, they are also stealthed. Alright, cool. So we got Ember Storm. That's going to work on this guy, even though he's stealthed, because we can't charge him directly, but this does all monsters. So that's nice. We also got our Mana Gem, which is pretty cool, and we can very easily just cast everything in our hand. There's only 1 targetable creature, so we can actually just click these cards and it'll just happen on the right target. Okay. That's great. Okay. We've got damage on top of our damage here. Let's go ahead and get some rain going so we get some regen. Let's remove 7 poison from that guy. That's a lot of damage. And then now we have just the choice of doing some bonkers damage here. If we apply these burns first, and then do Purging Ray, that should pretty much kill that guy. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we can actually target this guy, so our turn might be pretty boring here. Yeah, Slice is not usable, but we can prepare for next turn. We're going to not Wild Hunt this turn. That seems like a poor plan since we can't cast anything, so his turn's boring. Stinger Launcher happens. That guy takes a bunch of damage. And then we basically end the fight. She's got a full 10 energy. Not that it matters. Down in 1. Okay, repetition training is an interesting one. That's a way to get a card back cheaper for the rest of combat. And I am a fan of that, so let's do it. Sneaky Strike is doing okay for us. That would be a card that we could upgrade, so I like that. Get rid of one of our Ruptures, maybe. I don't think we need any of these. We're not doing much in the way of cold spells. And I think we're doing plenty of damage with Reginald already. We need more healing, actually. So it's a whole lot of not that. Now we get to choose to run away, which seems dumb, or fight one of these two groups. I'm of the opinion that we let fate decide. So we are going to look at the system clock here, and if we're an odd number, we will do this one. If we're an even number, we'll do that one. System clock says even number. Okay, Blazing Brothers it is. Now, if I thought about that a little harder, I probably would have done the other ones because these guys are going to be resistant to fire, and that's a lot of what she does. So, live and learn, right? Okay, we get a War Paint, and we can either do 2 Shield Bashes or 1 Sever Artery, and one of these two does a lot more damage than the other, and it's actually surprising. Sever Artery does so much more damage than the other two combined because 19 Bleed will do damage over multiple turns. So it does 28 and 19, and then the next turn it'll do 18 and 17 and 16 and so forth. That being said, this also gives us 40 armor, and we've got people coming up pretty fast here. So I think we might just end up doing the Shield Bashes anyway. I'm a little sad that we got our repetition training here. That means that we are not going to get it for another 3 turns, at least. Unless we have a chance to cycle some of this. But we wouldn't have had a chance to cast it anyway, even if we did Sever Artery, because that would bring us down to 0. So let's just give ourselves a bunch of armor. He can tank, hopefully. Some hits, it'll make us feel like it's worth it. Searing Nova is going to do almost nothing on these guys. We did get a lot of marks, though, so that's good. So we're going to fully ignore Rupture here. We're just going to Hunter's Mark the crud out of this guy. And now our little damage thing is doing a lot more damage. Okay. Ouch. Good. Alright, we got Elemental Proliferation along with Ember Storm and Superconductor, which is pretty much ideal because every time I hit things on a jump, it's going to do more damage. So, let's get the Ember Storm rolling. Let's get a Fire Blast in here. What that's going to do is make sure the Superconductor actually conducts. We'll start it on this guy and see what happens. Fantastic. Let's get some additional damage in on this one. I feel like these are the ones that summon, if I remember correctly. So, also these are the Blazing Brothers, and I'm pretty sure that that character is female. So that's a thing. All right, so do that first because it deals with cards. Detoxify just means that we'll block an effect, but it's 0, so we might as well. And then let's get some heals out. Okay, we're looking a lot healthier now. That feels pretty good. Okay, we start doing some damage. Okay. So we have a chance to have 2 guys go before all 3 of them go. So really anything we do needs to pretty much put a lid on all of their stuff. Okay, Wild Hunt is worth it. We can go ahead and get 5 energy and do most of our hand here. In point of fact, we're going to do Sneaky Strike into Ice Shot. Ice Shot right now is already going to kill that guy. Let's go that into that. That's a ton of damage. I didn't damage this guy because he can only hit the front guy anyway, so we might as well just sort of do things. Hey, by doing that, we might be able to kill this guy anyway. Follow-up isn't useful this turn, but I can set it up for next turn, so we'll fast strike, follow-up barricade, follow-up will be ready for next turn. And he's dead. Good deal. Okay, we got our fireball, which isn't going to do a lot of damage, but we can at least remove all of her stacks. Let's go ahead and get a charged battery in there. Get those fire blasts rolling. So she's got 22 stacks of burn. She's got a lot of fire resist, but that's okay. Let's get Divine Retribution in there. Let's get Healing Rain in there. Let's get some Foresight so we can see if she's summoning. She is summoning. I don't want it. Don't want it. Alright, let's remove some health. Alright. Well, good news, that barricade was doing work for us, so we actually managed to block most of the incoming damage this turn. Only a little bit happened here. That's good. Alright, round 3, fight. Get some extra energy, get a deflect going. Get a Searing Nova. There's another summon coming, so we really want to make sure that this lady dies. Somebody have a taunt? Oh no, this one just goes to the back monster. Well, that's okay. And she's going to go before anybody else except for Magnus, so let's see if we can get Magnus to have something that can deal with that. Sweeping Strike can do it. Cleave can do it. Precise Strike could do it, but we don't need it to. So Fast Strike is going to make Sweeping Strike free, because we've already got our thing queued up from last turn. So we are in actually pretty excellent shape here. Okay, so order matters here, so follow-up means that we want to do Fast Strike first. That's going to reduce the cost of Sweeping Strike. Go ahead and Enrage to get another Fast Strike. That's nice. And we want to do the Sweeping Strike here, even though it's going to waste some damage because it should kill both of those guys. We should be able to win from here. Look at that. Alright. That's bludgeoning damage we don't really care about. Spiked Shield is an actually interesting one because that upgrades to 1 and gives us some thorns, so I'm going to take that. Poison Spray is pretty cool, so that one repeats 2, does not cost extra, so that 3 cost is exactly what it costs, but it's doing piercing damage and poison damage, which we're not really focusing on here, so we're going to skip that. Oh wait, no, we got, this does piercing damage +1, so we are actually boosting that by a bit. Huh. That being said, poison happens at the end of the turn, as opposed to bleed, which happens at the beginning, so I'm still not excited about it. We're going to skip. Skip. And for all the same reasons that we were skipping everything else, skip. Alright, we're super healthy, so let's go fight the champion. He's got 400 health. My guys together don't have 400 health, but I feel like I should probably be able to do more damage than he does on a given turn. Let's test this theory. Alright, so I'm going from 4 energy to 5. And we will... Okay, that does 5 damage. This does 12. He's super resistant to bludgeoning damage. Okay. In that case, let's go ahead and barricade. Since that isn't going to do a lot of damage until I get some mark stacks up anyway. Alright, so what we really want here is we want to get mark happening quickly. So slice is good. Adrenaline is fine. We can actually do both of these, so gain the stealth charge, then do the ice shot for extra damage. Okay. Not the greatest. Okay. He's bleeding. That is a lot of damage to the front hero, but thankfully we had a lot of block going as well, so that's pretty nice. Let's make sure that Andrin can do something next turn. Superconductor is pretty boring in this context because there's nobody to jump to, so I think we'll just fully skip it. The spark charges, by the way, are also not very exciting, except for the fact that it reduces his lightning resist, so that means we'll do more and more lightning damage as time goes on. Okay, Divine Grace is great. We can get rid of all the bleed stacks. Holy Smite is great. And sure. Let's also get a little bit of healing in for this guy. The prayer healing would have been nice, except it would have been wasted on these two for the most part. So if we had not cleansed this guy, we could have done a heal and done that, but I don't think that's necessary. Alright, that's just free energy. Alright, now we can do all the marks. We're going to stack up real nicely here. Oh, look at that. Oh, baby, 26 damage bonus. So instead of doing 15 damage, that's 27. We will take it, and an additional 6 stacks on it. Alright, cool. So notice that follow-up isn't going to help us much, so we're just going to fast strike out first. Get the spike shield, get the follow-up for next turn. Okay, he's got some self-buffs rolling, but he is already hurting so badly. Let's get transmission going for Andrew again. He seems to be the one that's able to use the most energy the most effectively. And Ember Storm, Fire Blast, Fire Blast, Nightmare. Oh, that's so much damage. So Nightmare does extra damage here because he's got 31 stacks of mark, and it does 2 different types of damage. And each of those damage types is affected by mark. So it does actually plus 62 damage on a single card that costs 1. So that is just insane. Alright, let's detox this guy. We are so close to winning. We'll just do Sacred Bolt in, and then we'll Divine Retribution. Means we're not healing, but I think we're close enough to the point where that Pebble is just going to win. We got Excellent. Okay. I was thinking we would actually get less than that, but I'll take Excellent. Stockade is like an upgraded barrier that you can only use once. Well, that one's already upgraded. Yeah, let's do that. These are dumb. These are... That's interesting. These are expensive, but super neat. Applying mark from somebody who's not the scout is intriguing, at least. 5 for 34 damage and applying a bunch of status effects is pretty cool. 7 to all monsters. Okay, so that's why it's so expensive. Deals 40 damage and applies 7 Sanctified to everybody. I have no way of casting this right now. If I got better cards here that allowed me to sort of more consistently give him extra energy. I mean, I've got Transmission, but that's not really... I'm not guaranteed to get those fast. But... dear goodness, Celestial Brilliance is a pretty cool card. You can even make it 6, which is slightly more affordable, but that one actually becomes pretty good. So much damage. This, by the way, is also so much damage, but 2 of the things that it does are not as important. So the Vulnerable is okay, it's just minus resistances per charge, but the main thing is just the marks are pretty good. So it's really, do I want a 5 thing that goes to 4 or a 3 thing that goes to 2? The 5 thing that goes to 4 does about twice as much damage, so maybe we just stick with this one. Four vulnerable is also pretty insane. Do we have any really expensive cards? We have 1, 2 kind of expensive cards. We don't have any like super expensive. Let's go for Death's Reach. Let's try it out. We are Proclaimed Champion in the arena. Hey, we all got a cantripping single effect Vanish card that gives us 3 power, 2 bless, and 1 bonus energy for the next turn. That's pretty great. So that is a boon. that shows up here in our boons and injuries pile. So right now we've all got a couple of those. One of the interesting things about this is it actually counts towards your card limit. So you can remove down to less cards in your actual deck. So if you notice that, like, Evelyn cards says 17 over here on this side, but we've only got 15 cards and 2 boons. So we could actually do things like remove, I don't know, a Fire Blast or 2 or something like that, and get to the cards that we want to play faster. Reginald is stacking up cards left and right, but they're not always cards that we really want to play. Barrier is getting less and less exciting. Heal is less and less exciting because we've got Prayer of Healing and we want to get back to that one. Flash is just stupid. And I actually think that Sacred Bolt is worth removing, so we're pretty close to the point where we want to get rid of a bunch of our stuff. Stone Staircase. Okay, we've got 4. Let's see how much this does. That does a lot of damage, so we could do Shield Bash and Barricade, and then when it comes back around we could do Stockade. Stockade, though, gives everybody... we could do Defend. Stockade does give everybody Thorns. Thorns is more effective earlier in a fight, but that much damage is hard to ignore, so I don't know that there's a right answer. We were only going to get to do one of those 2 things anyway. Hey, I'm energized and blessed and all that kind of stuff. Got to deflect in for even more energy, sure. Adrenaline, take it. Let's remove her from the game? Oh, we can't. Okay, well, we can get her close. I'm now regretting my choice to not put thorns on things there. Repeating attacks are one of the best possible things to have thorns against. Okay. Overall, not too bad. We took some damage, but we should be able to heal a lot of that back. Fireball is super great here. Not as great when they've got evade, but that does eat both the evade stacks. I can only do one other thing here. We're going to do that to give myself extra energy for next turn, since I have combustion. It's actually not what I was thinking. I should have transmissioned over here. Reginald's the one that we picked up the new card on, huh? Yeah, Death Reach. Okay, well, that's okay. We've got Healing Ring. That's a good thing to see early. We can remove speed from one of these 2. That does seem good. Also barrier. We can do everything in our hand. That's probably worth doing. Let's go ahead and heal. And we will purge the Unholy. Do some damage. Alright, now if we're really lucky, Pebble Throw will just straight up take out the... Nope, didn't do it. Wild Hunt is a good draw for this turn. We have 5 energy already. We have a bunch of cards that we can cast, so that seems good. Which one is this? One in the back? Okay. Let's see if we can't cycle through Magnus's stuff real quick and get to something we want. That's fine for the most part, but maybe let's get rid of... So Enrage is going to draw another card. Arena Champion is going to draw another card. Cleave is a decent... Cleave is actually pretty good since it does damage to everybody, and Spiked Shield is pretty good defense, but I think we're going to skip... Because we've got follow-up, we want to try to get to more attacks, so we'll skip Spiked Shield. Okay, in we go. Wild Hunt. Get that. Do a Sneaky Strike in on there. We'll do an Ice Shot in on the same one. Very nice. Okay. Okay, good. So we got our Oh wow, we can even make them all slower. That's fantastic. Okay, so follow-up goes first, obviously, then Fast Strike. Then now Cleave is free this turn. Oh, we didn't quite kill her. That's okay. Ow. That is indeed painful. Alright, I think we are pretty close to just sort of winning outright. Let's get transmission over here so we don't forget. Searing Nova. Get that one dead, and now everything goes against the last one. Okay. Not what I was hoping for, but also not the worst. Get a big smite. Let's remove stuff there. This barrier. And we will choose to put Healing Rain on top. Let's put Heal on top because it reduces the cost by 1. And Healing Rain is already. Ow! I don't think we want to make it to Reginald, though, since she's going before he does. Probably just want to go ahead and kill her. Now, assuming that I get the anything that's offensive, which basically my whole hand was, that was going to be easy. Boy, Charge is a corrupt card that does 21 damage, makes us fast, and applies a crack. That would be very good for a deck that was doing bludgeoning damage, but I'm not really doing bludgeoning damage with the exception of my 2 shield bashes, which, granted, do a lot of damage, but 1 crack is only going to increase that damage by 1, so I think we skip on all that. Skip on all this. We have an electricity manual, which is pretty great. We can redo electricity cards, or we can do encyclopedias to give us 2 extra spells that are cost reduced. Those are both very good. Let's go with the encyclopedia. It's a rare card. We'll try that out. Got a chain heal that reduces the effect by 50% per chain, so we do 13 to the first target, and then 6 or 7 to the second one, and then like 3 to the third. For 3 mana, that's less exciting than it could be. But we leveled, which is great. So we have the choice to reduce costs of melee attacks or reduce the cost of defense cards. What do we have? So these are not going to get reduced. That's not going to get reduced. But Cleave is expensive. Shield Bashes being 1 less would be nice. Spiked Shield being 1 less would be nice. So those are actually melee attacks. So our only defense cards are those 2 that cost anything. So actually Offensive Mastery is pretty much just 100% better. When you play a melee attack card that costs energy, refund 1 energy or reduce ranged attack. So what do we got? Melee, 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 1 ranged that goes away. So, yep, momentum it is. And I think we wanted versatile because we got elemental proliferation. So we already talked about that one in the last video. This one's interesting. When you play a healing spell that costs energy, refund 1 energy. Do we have healing spells that cost? Okay, so that would basically cost 2. Those would basically cost 0. And the other option, oh, and that would basically cost 0 as well. The other option is when you cast a holy spell, which is this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Add a randomly upgraded holy smite card with 0 and banish once per turn. Okay. So we pretty much would just get to do a Holy Smite on turns that we got Flash. It boosts his damage potential without really changing the energy economy, since you're already going to have to spend your mana on other things. We did, however, get... Oh, that's a Shadow spell. Shadow spell. Okay, so let's go with the healing thing. Okay, now we want to go south because we want to get our thing here, so let's go to a rest area. We got a 35%, but I do like the idea of being able to remove a card. So let's try this. Hopefully we get it. We do not, but we do get to remove a card. Okay, now that we've got offensive mastery, I don't feel like we need... Well, Precise Strike does 1 energy for 17 damage versus 0 energy for 7. So this is now the worst card in the deck. Sneaky Strikes are pretty nice. Rupture is not as nice. Maybe Rupture's okay. Maybe Sneaky Strike is less good. That is difficult. Slices are still fantastic because they're basically free now. Deflects are obviously hilarious. Expert Tracker is... Honestly, maybe Expert Tracker is our lamest card. Let's get rid of a... Let's get rid of a transmission. And for here, we took the healing stuff, so we want to get rid of our Sacred Bolt. Because we got more expensive attacks and need to get rid of some of our expensive attacks. Okay, great. Off we go to Khazad-dûm. Open the gates at any cost and try to endure the heat. Well, we got a better than 50% chance. Let's try it. Well, too many people got burned. You know, if I had reversed that, this would have been fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so these are already reduced. Follow-up becomes pretty important. War Paint. Strike, yeah, we can do everything in our hand now. That seems super nice. Very good. Okay, we got our Adrenaline, that's fine. We got Deflect, that's fine. We got the Arena Champion. Okay, we're just cycling through the whole deck, no problem. Slice first. Sneaky Strike, and that makes Rupture do more damage, 20%. This guy can bleed, okay. I guess. That's a lot of block. Okay. X equals my burn. So I don't have any burn. Searing Nova is boring. But we get it from a card anyways. Or we get it from equipment, so I guess it's sort of free damage. Is there an order that's going to help us here? Don't think so. I think applying as many burns as we can is probably the only thing that matters. We'll just go ahead and fireball the middle. Alright. Okay, we got Omen of Peril. Likely we will need to do more healing next turn, so that actually might be a thing we do. Don't forget that Divine Grace is basically free. So we start with 5 energy, we do this. We get our energy back, that's great. We do Foresight on this guy just to see what he's doing. Bunch of defensive stuff, okay. So, Holy Smite. And yeah, let's go ahead and... Oh, boo. Okay. Not as useful as it could be. Okay. marks on that front guy are gone now, but I don't think we care. Ow! Let's, what is this? Heat laser all heroes, dispel, no, not dispel, deal fire damage equal to 6, looks like. I don't like it. Okay, enrage first. I think cleave, repetition training on cleave. Then next time we draw it, it'll be 1-0 cost, because it's 1 now, and then it'll get reduced with our offensive mastery. Seems pretty good. That thing isn't going to get to go until after all these guys, so I could wait to do anything else and just stockade. That's a lot of burns, and now I'm super, super thankful for getting my healing ring. So speaking of, let's make sure he has enough energy to do what he wants to do. And then I think we skip on combustion because all these guys are like half immune to fire anyway, so we'll just do our charge batteries. He's got taunt, so he's taking all the damage. We don't get to choose. Okay. And just like that, 20 stacks of burn is gone. Purging Ray seems hilariously good here. Mostly to get rid of the charges of Fortify, since Heat Laser only does damage if it has Fortify. We can do all of this technically, because our mana keeps coming back. Brilliant. Okay. Captain's Howl. Cleave. Fast Strike. Can this guy bleed? He can. That's very nice. I feel like the encyclopedia is not great. But that's what we've got, so we're doing it. Well, actually, in this case, it's pretty good, because it'll be, the 2 cards are just going to be, like, right on top of the deck, so we'll just get them. Drain life? Sure. Suffer? No. Sure, I don't know. Elemental Proliferation is only good in so much as it puts Ice Spark. Heal is not necessary, but we can do this to add Bless to people. Yeah, that thing is so close to dying. Okay, it's dead. This is going actually pretty well. By pretty well, I mean it's over this turn. Shield Breaker, Pulverize, and Flanking Strike. So 1 for 14 and 2 bleed is pretty good. So as we go, we're probably going to start replacing our fast strikes with things that cost energy because they become free, or become cheaper with offensive mastery. Puncture is okay. it's okay. And I think that's all there is to it. It's just okay. The question is, do we want cards that are just okay, or do we have anything that we really want to just keep coming back to? I think the answer is just okay is fine for now. We don't have anything super exciting yet. We've already got a Chain Lightning type with Superconductor, so I don't think we need that. And then the other two are Shadow Spells. Holy Ripple here. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we got Honorable. So we can heal ourselves on draw now. That seems good. And we got some gear, which seems really good. Okay. So we can apply... Cursed Dagger might be really good for Yandrin. It does mean we won't have Searing Nova anymore, which is actually a positive. It also means that our stab damage goes down by 1, so Slice will become 9. But we just picked up Puncture, we have Rupture, we have Ice Shot that do piercing damage, and that would be increased by 2 from where it is right now. So that's pretty stinking good. Chalice of Kings is just, yes. Is there anything else that we would have taken on him? All damage +1 and heal +1. Yeah, it's fine. Or we could just do that, which is massively better. Okay. I'm going to stop thinking about that right now and just do it. This one is a straight upgrade over that, so yeah. Think about it for 2 seconds. Yeah, okay. And this guy, I think Cursed Dagger is probably just too good to not do, unless we really wanted to grab one. Oh, that's our mark thing. The wall seems hilarious for that guy. Yeah, I think Cursed Dagger is probably just too good to not do. Okay, so we can do the wall, which gives us way more resistance to everything. It also makes us super slow, but makes us do +7 on defensive cards, which means that that becomes 20 to all heroes. Hard to argue with. This also just gives us 2 a little bit of max HP. Doesn't slow us down as much. Does slow us down on the first turn because we won't be fast from the Forest Ground. So do we want to be... I guess let's look here. I don't have anything that gives Fortress right now. I can look to get something that gives Fortress, though. And the wall becomes insane at that point. I also have... What are my character sheet? Yeah, there we go. So I've got 21% resistance. If I increase that by another 25%, 40% resistance to essentially slash, blunt, and piercing, and then decent resistance to everything else. I'm going to try it because it's there. Hey, we unlocked a new hero, so on a future run we don't have to play with the exact same form. Alright, so we're here. We got to go up here to Stone Bridge. And we're hitting just about an hour, guys. Make sure to hydrate. Okay, Wild Hunt is a good one for this turn because we can actually... So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in our hands, but 3 of those are melee skills, so as long as we cast these 3 first, we'll get 3 energy back. So we should actually be able to cast everything. Perfect. And actually, yeah, let's try to get rid of her very much first. Okay. Perfect block. I like it. War paint is in. Wow, how does he still have 17 speed? Oh, because he got a stack of fast from something. Oh, because I still have the forest crown. Hey, that kind of counteracts the wall to start with. Then it, goes away. Alright. We do not have momentum, so we are only going to get to play 2 skills here. Shield Bash and one other. I think it's probably important to Stockade. There's a lot of cards coming up on enemies right after his turn, so let's get some protection. Yep. That seems like that was a pretty good plan. Okay. Elements of proliferation coming up with Superconductor and Everstorm is just about the best case scenario, so let's go ahead and do that. Get rid of the evasion stack first. Proceed to shock things. Does not really matter where it goes because we can't control it. So. Alright, can we kill this one in the back? I think so, because I think that gets enough burn stacks to where it just dies. Alright, so we've got Prayer of Healing, which we don't need. We got Divine Grace, which we can use for free. Healing doesn't matter right now. Detoxify doesn't matter right now. But giving a buffer stack does seem good since he doesn't have any armor. So at least we can reduce bad effects from happening. And then let's go to Holy Smite. Do this. Just to give out the Bless stack. Very good. Okay. We have a lot of cards that we can cast and not a lot of targets that we need to do them on. So let's move through. Slice goes in 1, Slice goes in 2, Puncture Bleed. Okay. Pain happens on the front hero. Lots of pain happens on the front hero. Ooh, and a little bit to the back. Okay. We are honorable. That one is better because the bleed is immune for this guy. That's a lot of things that just happened there. Let's get transmission over here just to make sure he can do what he wants to. Let's get some fire burn. Does this do anything? 31 damage. Ooh. Nice. That's very unfortunate. Oh, never mind. He's dead. Okay, sure. Hey, it's an upgraded stockade. I think we're good. Do we have Spike Shield? Yeah, we still have Spike Shield. Yeah, it's probably just worth taking. Bulk heal equals your deck size. So not this deck, but probably your draw size? Maybe? Probably worth testing. Equals your discard times 2. Yeah, no, this is going to be, okay, deck is going to be draw pile size. We have have done honorable things. And now we will do wild hunt things. Well, that bat guy is getting tons of marks. And now it has paid off. Ow, burns. We're paying, stockade, probably what we want here. So fast striking, shield bastion, and then stockade for the stacks of thorns. Those stacks of thorns are paying off. What about now? Ooh, don't kill the guy. Don't kill him. That's not good. Okay. Alright, let's get some stuff. Living Flame seems awesome. Elemental Bolt seems awesome. Let's go. Good turn. Ow. I'm honorable. Heal me. Heal myself. Remove all the stacks of everything. Alright, let's get another heal on the board. Seems fine. And let's make sure that we know what that guy is doing. Alright. Off we go. So we're pretty much done with that guy now. He's got burn stacks that'll finish him off. And he goes next, so he will die. So let's skip Rupture, and we'll just do Sneaky Strike into Puncture. So Sneaky Strike on that guy, Puncture in, he does take that. But you know what, we can't do Ruptures. Okay. Alright, we've got random monster with jumpy bits. Didn't think about the fact that they're actually immune to burning, but that's okay. Nightmare they are not immune to. And Charge Battery nobody's immune to. Let's get this out of the way so we don't have to draw it again. Okay, we have a ton of good stuff that we can do now. We can detox the slow off of him. Although he's still slow. We can heal somebody. We don't actually need to, so we're going to save it. We'll remove the ability for him to get more damaged or whatever. Well, let's bring this guy down. Okay. He is toast. Okay, that guy's also slow. And Magnus's turn. Okay, everything is relatively cheap, but we can go ahead and get an extra one in anyway. Those guys seem to be especially bad, so let's kill him first if we can. Oh, nice. Okay. Wow, we're still in the excellent round thing, and I think we might actually make it depending on what we draw. Mana Gem, Elemental, Fire Blast, Fire Blast. Superconductor will only hit once because it can't jump to anybody. That's unfortunate. And then Holy Smite finishes the battle. Alright. Get a cat wheezing over here. Old sinuses are just a little tight. Nothing we want there. Good. It's an upgraded superconductor. we're good though. Yeah, maybe we're good. It says jump in extra time, but maybe we don't care. All right. Skip. Skip, question mark? Ruin Bolt is interesting, but I think we're probably good. Okay, and we got a boss fight, and we'll be done with this particular act. Going along at a decent clip, as we said in the first video. If you've gotten to this point, congratulations. Each act takes a little bit over an hour, so a run through the first 3 acts that are the entirety of this game right now is about a 3 to 4 hour process. We don't really need to heal, so let's just fight. Alright, Ignido. He's got lava spikes. They do 1 thing. He does 4. But since they're in the way, we will probably have to kill them anyway. 1, 2, Hunter's Mark, Shoe. 5, 6, Ice Shot in your face. No. Okay, that did not rhyme and we're okay with that. Okay, we'll defend ourselves. Yeah, even that little defend is doing so much now because of the wall. And the wall is going to give us all energy. Repetition training has nothing to grab, so we're just going to skip it so we don't waste the card. Okay, so this is one of the things we talked about making your deck small in the first episode, which was if you have a super small deck and enemies start putting things in it, you're likely to draw all the crap that they put in your deck. For us, that's probably still okay, but later on that might be more of an issue. Okay, let's get Serum in there. Let's get Superconductor going. Cool. And take care of that. Great. So now we've just got the enemy to work with. Okay, so Ash is going to give us burns, but we can get rid of that with other things, like Healing Rain. But let's do our other bits first. Nothing really to purge, but we might as well do the damage. And nobody needs healing, correct? So we'll just go ahead and burn myself. And I don't think he's going to do any bleeds or toxin. It looks like he's going to do lots of burn things. So let's just make this guy immune to burn for 1 stack of it. And then we're done. Hey, look at that. That was fortuitous. Follow-up is going to be kind of a waste here, but that's okay. Most of our stuff is pretty castable all the time, so... Okay, we get some more Ash in our decks. That's not great, but it's not the worst. All of that worked in our favor to have all that block there since he used all of it. Okay, we're going to give extra energy to him. We're going to Fire Blast, which isn't great because it's applying heat, which he can then use to heal, but don't have much of a choice. Alright, Healing Rain will remove at least some of this junk. Should have done that first, but we can still do it anyway. Now, that is not saving one of those Healing Rains for later, but I think at the rate we're applying marks to this guy, we should be done with this in another round or 2, so we'll probably be okay. I say that and then I draw 3 ashes. Okay. Yeah, alright. Instant karma. Okay, round 3, let's go. Adrenaline. Order. Sneak. Sneak. Puncture. Ash. Okay. Getting all my status cards out of here. And 1 card that actually does things. So it is useful to play the ashes because we don't want to keep redrawing all of it. If he's putting 2 ash in our deck every turn, if we can get rid of those, then we can at least not have hands where we draw just like 4 or 5 ash and have nothing to do. Okay. So he took away our burns, which is nice for us because we don't have a good way to do that ourselves now. Unfortunately, combustion is not good. So we're going to just not cast that. Okay. Yeah, because it does no damage and just applies things that he will heal with. So let's just not. Death's Reach is super good for us. We're getting closer to our Shadow Explosion, but not there yet. Barrier, Flash, Dash. As long as we can maintain a decent level of healing going in, we'll probably only lose 1 hero. Losing a hero isn't too bad on a final boss fight, because you can always, you get the hero back with a injury card, and then you can remove it at the next town. It feels a lot worse to lose a hero when you're in the middle of an act as opposed to the end. This is one of the places where I think we don't do Ash. I think we actually just do rats. Okay, so at least Fireball does some damage before getting out of there. Ember Storm is going to do damage and effectively heal him. Same thing with that. We'll get the Encyclopedia. Oh, good. Icicle Barrage seems super great because that's cold damage, and Chain Lightning isn't good. Geyser is good because it makes wet happen, so we'll do that. And we have a pretty good chance of actually grabbing that on our next turn, so we can see all the things he's going to do, although I think we know what he's going to do. Oh, we are super close to dead on Andrin, so we will be able to heal ourselves just a little bit here. Might as well. Okay, we only have 100 damage left to deal, so I feel like we're getting pretty close to that, especially with the fact that we're stacking up a critical massive mark here. 22 damage per hit. I think we win. Alright, folks, we did it. Ignudo is down. We didn't even lose any of our heroes, and we have 1 more act left to play on this particular run. Let's go ahead and get our cards. We'll get to the next town, and then we'll pick up there on the next video. We are not doing any Fury, and we're trying to avoid getting all this stuff going, although it's really kind of what the deck has given us, huh? How difficult would it be for us to transition into all bludgeoning damage? Well, I keep giving up those cards, so maybe just do that. I already have Sneaky Strikes. Mass Invisibility would be better if it weren't... I don't know. Mana Search, on the other hand, costs 2 and grants 4 total energy, so that is a fantastic card. We're going to take that one, no problem, and we're going to take a Meditate, no problem. Oh boy, so's Renew, but Meditate's just so good. Alright, golden chest. What do we get? We got a lava crystal, we got a volcanic axe, which makes all of our damage into fire. Twin blades could make us draw cards. We got a berserker claw that makes all of our slashing damage go super bonkers, and then we can get ourselves into pretty dangerous territory, actually, because that'll give us self bleeds. Pretty strong option though. Every 3 turns, recover HP and gain an energy, so that seems pretty good. Extra energy seems actually pretty useful on him. So I think that might be... Rejuve Potion goes on him. I do like the idea of a Berserker Claw. Gaining Fury does more damage. We're pretty offensive. We do have good ways to get rid of bleeds. So let's do it. I don't need a weapon. What does Overheat do? Just gives us power. All resistance is +10 and speed +2. That's a pretty decent option there. All damage +1 on a book. Okay, so this is really our only viable option other than the core here, but we're not doing any fire on him, so Boots of Swiftness it is. And then for her, she's got a decent weapon already. So Volcanic Axe would be more of the same, only more. Lava Crystal would be interesting. Dispel Wet and Cold, suffer 1 burn, and gain 3 power. Oh, you know what? We are doing Searing Nova, which does the burn thing, so that would work with Lava Crystal. The other thing is we could do that. I like Synergy. Let's try that. Okay, and that gets us to the greenish portal again. That's, you know, all our heroes are healed. We go over into the final thing. I didn't let you guys read things, but that's okay. We're going to want to go this north path here. Let's get ourselves into town. We can start upgrading things. And let's get a pet shop. That sounds cool. And we've got injuries to reduce, so let's go ahead and do that now. Injury, severe burn, get rid of that. That's expensive. And we've got 21 cards, so we can start getting a ton of stuff here. I think Precise Strike is not as good as Flanking Strike. Cleave is pretty decent. Spike Shield we can make cheaper. We no longer really need this Defend, except it is free, so I guess we might as well. These I don't think we need. Don't think we need the one of these two, so we can either keep that or keep that. Let's keep the Flanking Strike and upgrade it. Down to 18, 17. We do have, okay, so we got an AoE here, we've got an AoE with Sweeping Strike. Sweeping Strike, if we upgrade Cleave, Sweeping Strike isn't necessary. And then I'm okay with 16 there, that seems fine. Here we can get rid of one of our Sneaky Strikes. I don't think we need that many of them. Our Deflects are fantastic. Wild Hunt is fantastic. Adrenalines are fine. Puncture is fine. Rupture isn't doing as much now. Oh wait. We actually want those two. And not Sneaky Strike because we're doing more range damage now. So get rid of Sneaky Strike. And I think we're okay with what we've got. Maybe we reduce one of our slices just so we get these pieces more. Alright. and for her, now that we have Mana Surge, we no longer need Transmission. And Combustion is pretty good. Superconductor's pretty good. Got 2 mana gems, that's fine. Her deck might just be okay as a larger thing. Maybe reduce one of the Fire Blasts, because we've got so much mana that we don't need too many zero-cost stuff. These go away, that goes away, that goes away. That seems fine. I'm not really using these heals. I'm not really using this barrier. And this Foresight doesn't matter. Okay. So that feels pretty good, except for the fact that I've really only got Prayer of Healing now, but that's fine. Let's upgrade a couple of cards. So Repetition Training going back into our hand, cost reduced by 1 is pretty cool. Cleave going to all monsters with more damage and applying bleed is really good. This giving us more fury seems good since we're doing that anyway. This costing 1 seems excellent. So we'll spend a large majority making him better. He's already mostly upgraded. That's too expensive. Too expensive. Okay, that's reasonable. Making that not go away means we can do it multiple times. That seems awesome. Very expensive, very expensive. Not as expensive, but probably not. What we want to do... Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. And then we got Omen of Peril. Reveal 3 healing spells, put 1 in your hand. Or 2 healing spells and put 1 in your hand, cost reduced by 1. Yeah, let's do that. And then we wanted to make this 4, but that's super, super expensive, so we can't do that. Okay, and that, I think, other than going to our armory and just seeing if there's anything we want to do, is probably it. Crusader's Helmet is hilarious, but we already have the wall. That's good. This seems super good. I think that's all we would really want anyway, so let's do that. Check these others. So Healing Book, I think we already have something better. Frozen Orb we're not doing. Brigand Armor would be okay, actually. Brigand Armor is a straight upgrade to what he's got, so let's do that. And then we are out of money. We are basically out of shards. And we are in it for the last act. Very good, guys. Thanks so much. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Hope you guys learned something. If you didn't learn anything, hope you guys at least had fun. And as usual, we will catch you on the next one.